Well, I was normally always the only girl that was instructing, and what I used to hate was they would come out and they would all arrive in a group, and I could see them all thinking, oh, I hope I don't get the girl.
Yeah.
And so when I could sense that, I was like, okay, time to show them what I'm made of. I think if I would look back and see the two big moments in my career, getting podiums in Formula Renault, racing against Lewis, where I got spotted by Mercedes-Benz, and that was the opportunity to drive for them in German touring cars. I thank my lucky stars to this day. That was
so many reasons.
For so many reasons.
I heard somebody say the other day that they think you should be the next head of the FIA.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Is that categorically never going to happen?
No, I'm not interested in that role.
You wouldn't do it?
No.
Hey, if it ain't Katie Shanahan. Hello, Katie.
Hello, Chris. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm very well.
Right,
very
for
well.
people who don't know who you are and what you do, let's imagine you're on Blind Date. What's your name? Where are you from?
I'm Katie Shanahan, and I'm a TalkSport presenter. And
Yes,
I've
you
come
are.
down the corridor to be on this show. Very exciting.
All right, just so we could give you a little plug here, you've nicked Aussie Jane's intro. Sorry, Aussie Jane. I can only apologize. I just thought it was worth it. Bit of cross promo.
Yeah,
do you know what
yeah.
I mean? Bit of cross-pollination between the various radio stations. Off you go then.
Okay, so our next guest is in charge of finding Formula One's future female talent. She's the MD of F1 Academy, and her memoir, Driven, takes you round every bend of her fascinating story. Ahead of making the next season a total doozy, it's the sensational Susie Wolff.
Oh, what fun! Here she comes, Susie Wolff on the show.
Hi, Suze. What a welcome. How are you doing? I'm really pumped after this.
Good, that's what we want. We want you to be pumped. Congratulations, what a book. What a book.
Well, if you enjoyed it, then that means a lot.
It's been a great week for books for me. So on a Thursday, I have this newsletter. Well, I write it on a Thursday, it comes out on Friday, and we always have a read of the week. And I've never done a double header, but it's you and it's Zach this week. Because if you like motorsport and you like a good story and a good yarn and a lot of inspiration, both your books, they're full of that. So it's a dead heat, if that's all right.
Absolutely, we'll both take the win.
Yeah, between you and Zach. Your book is so similar and so different to his, depending on which chapter we're reading. We've got to dive straight in there. What's it like teaching Prince William and Harry to drive?
Oh, you are going straight in there.
Of course we are.
Well, I got Prince William, and
Yeah.
he was definitely a bit more reserved than Harry. Very thoughtful, built up to it,
Mm-hmm.
and in the end was quickest, to my credit. But Harry was definitely wilder, let's say.
So he's naturally quick.
He's naturally quick and fearless.
Right, okay. But the consistency and the lap after lap after lap, Prince William takes the crown for that.
He did, and in the end, he ended up quicker.
Right. How come you were teaching those two guys in the first place? Where were you? What are you doing? Why were you doing it?
Well, I was a young wannabe racing driver, struggling to pay the rent at the end of every month. So I was working as an instructor at Jonathan Palmer's Palmer Sport, a kind of corporate driving centre. It was £100 for a day, and I had always had to calculate at the start of the month, okay, how much do I need this month to eat and live?
Yeah, and because Zach did the same thing. Zach was a teacher at a race circuit, and I think it was 100 quid a day, and I think it was Snettison, and I think it was around the same time as you were doing it.
But imagine for an American coming over here. I mean, that's tough. But congratulations to Zach, world champion.
Yeah, congratulations.
With Lando.
So when Prince William and Prince Harry arrived, you didn't know it was them because they arrived on motorbikes. Just give us a bit of a sense of what happened that morning.
Well, the chief instructor was a guy named Phil, and he knew that my speciality was the Renault Clio Cups. And he said, we've got a special guest for you this morning. And I was quite blasé, thinking, yeah, no problem. We had kind of, cool people turning up.
Yeah.
And it was all kind of very secretive, and this kind of blacked out car arrived with two motorbikes behind it. And then we all kind of looked and thought, well, who can this be? And then the helmets came off, and we all looked at each other and went, oh. And then Phil looked at me and said, Prince William? I was like, yeah, sure, Prince William.
So you had no idea. Obviously, some people knew what was
Some
going
people
on.
knew, but it was kept very secretive.
And isn't it funny? There was a blacked out car, which you'd think they'd be in, but they were on the motorbikes.
They were on the motorbike. So it shows you how much they enjoy, obviously, speed.
Yeah, no, they did that for a while, didn't they? Do you remember they used to buzz around early mornings on the motorbikes because they could do it unrecognised? Fascinating stuff. When people arrive, whether it's royalty or people we've heard of or whatever, for a track day, what is the thing they mostly get wrong? What's the easiest or the most useful thing to teach them?
Well, I was normally always the only girl that was instructing. And what I used to hate was they would come out and they would all arrive in a group and I could see them all thinking, oh, I hope I don't get the girl.
Yeah.
And so when I could sense that, I was like, okay, time to show them what I'm made of. But I think generally I can say people kind of overestimate their own talents.
Right.
You should really start and build up to it, whereas there was some, I would say mostly guys that got in the car and they thought, my goodness, by lap 1 they were Michael Schumacher.
Yeah, and I presume they just rev too high and it's not smooth, and smooth is slow, smooth, and smooth is fast. They don't get that bit, do they?
Yeah, and slow in, fast out, not fast in and then slow all the way down the straight.
Get the anchors on, lose the momentum, and break in a straight line, all that kind of stuff.
All that kind of stuff.
And so William was smooth.
William was definitely smooth and built up to it.
Right, that's cool, isn't it? Did you ever think when you were 2 sitting on that little 50cc motorbike that you'd be teaching royalty how to drive?
It's been an incredible journey and I'm grateful for that.
It's such a great story. Your story's amazing. How much do you love Lewis Hamilton?
Did you think that in the beginning? I love
it. For so many reasons.
Yeah,
just speak a bit about Lewis, then I'll ask a few more questions about him.
Yeah, I mean, obviously for his on-track success, but also for all that he's done for the sport off-track. You know, he shows up, he supports, he knows what it's like to be different, to be treated differently, and he's done so much for the sport. I mean, he created that catwalk walking into Formula One.
Yeah.
He's brought culture into the sport, and he's just someone that I've got a lot of time for.
And he came out to he had your back, didn't he, recently?
He had my back. He always has my back.
Do you want to speak to that or not? It's up to you.
No, I mean, generally throughout my whole career, he's obviously become so big, so successful, but he's still the Lewis that I know from when we were 8 years old.
Yeah.
And we reminisce on those days, and obviously his friendship with Toto and that journey we've been on. Obviously tough to watch him have such a difficult season now, and hoping with the completely new regulations he can come back and at least finish on a high.
Yeah, and he could go on for a good few years yet, couldn't he? When you start karting internationally, on the grid, Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg. Tell us about the first time you witnessed that.
Well, the thing is, when you're that age, you're just competitors. And Lewis and Nico were already teammates then. There was a big rivalry, both such different characters. But Lewis was just from such a young age always the one to beat. He was just so phenomenally fast. So it wasn't really a surprise that he went on to achieve all he did.
And you were really quick, weren't you, in a kart?
Well, it's difficult to call yourself really quick. Clearly, I had to be quick to make it to F1. So yeah, I mean, I am very competitive.
And just to give us the tempos from karting to F1, and then we'll go back and we'll pick up on a few of those.
I think if I would look back and see the 2 big moments in my career, the first was getting podiums in Formula Renault, racing against Lewis, and that got me noticed for the Autosport British Young Driver of the Year award, and that's really where I got spotted by Mercedes-Benz, and that was the opportunity to drive for them in German touring cars, and that was the big, I thank my lucky stars to this day. That was
for so many reasons.
For so many reasons.
So cool, what a story. We're talking to Susie Wolff about Driven, this amazing book of hers. So the Autosport Awards, Fashion Dilemma Chapter 1, is that? Or Style Dilemma or Image Dilemma?
Image Dilemma.
Tell us about that.
The first year I made it, I didn't have the budget to really go big on a dress and a look. But I remember the first year I was nominated, I was in a room of glamorous people and thought, I got to up my game here. So the following year I got nominated again, and I made a bit more of an effort.
Right. But there was a question, because you were sort of, you felt like, for all the wrong reasons, none of them your own fault, that you were stuck between a rock and a hard place. Because you said, didn't you, like there was either, there were 2 choices at the time, it would seem. One was sexy Penelope pit stop racing driver or tomboy.
Yeah.
But of course you like claim the middle ground, please.
I tried to claim the middle ground. I was lost for many years, and that's why I was grateful to meet Toto. He kind of said, you know, you just be you. That's all you can be, and it's the easiest thing to be. And now in my role with F1 Academy, want to break down those preconceptions for the next generation that you either have to be one or the other. Be who you are. That doesn't change how you can perform out on track, and we need to celebrate the individuals.
Yeah, you are the perfect person for the job you've got now. For people who don't know, what is your current job?
Well, F1 Academy was started by F1, really in a bid to give young female talent the opportunity in the sport, because it's one of the few sports in the world that isn't segregated. But we just don't have enough women competing, because they have this preconception that the sport's very macho, very male dominated. And it was, but it's definitely changing.
All right, so what is F1 Academy and what's happening next year with it?
F1 Academy is an all-female race series at F4 level. So F1, F2, F3, and then we're at F4 level. And we basically nearly fully fund the drivers so that they get the first opportunity to show what they're capable of. And the most talented we fund to move up the ladder in the hope that one day, if we do a good job, it will be inevitable that you'll see a woman on the F1 grid.
And we now know, don't we, that F1 Academy is the second most watched sport by F1 fans on the planet.
Chris, you are so good with your stats this morning.
Yeah, but
yes,
that's so impressive. I mean, that is a really impressive stat.
Yeah, and how lucky we are to have so much support, not just from F1, but from all the F1 teams in the sport. They each have a female driver and their car in F1 Academy.
Right. When did you meet Toto? Because it's a great story. It's the best story.
Was it romantic?
Well, not according to this text.
Oh my goodness. That is so funny.
It was pragmatic.
That is so funny.
It was pragmatically romantic. Would you like to describe to people listening what I'm doing at the moment?
Well, what many people don't realise is that I sent the first message and you've got a T-shirt made with the text that I sent Toto. Toto, I just wanted to let you know, if it had to be someone from Mercedes, it would only ever be you.
Right. Now let's just dive into those words and what does that mean precisely?
Well, I had always been very cautious of not having too many boyfriends because, you know, in that sport male environment, it's quite easy to get a reputation. And unfairly, completely unfairly.
Yeah.
So I had not been with anyone from Mercedes, and Mercedes were obviously telling me, well, if you had to date someone, surely it can be someone from Mercedes. And I, at that moment, was trying to laugh, was very nervous, and Toto said, yeah, but I mean, what about me? And he didn't know, but I was very, very into him at the time.
It's a Mr. Wolff impression by Mrs. Wolff.
And then after that text, it all moved very quickly, and 6 months later we were engaged.
Right, that is a great, because there's a bit of bants in there, isn't there? There's a bit of pit lane bants in there, in this particular, the wording of this text. Now, would you like to share with the class his reply?
Yeah, his reply was typical Toto, very Austrian. Oh, that's nice to hear. But really not a lot more came.
Well, he said, oh, that's nice to hear. I'll call you when I land.
I'll call you when I land.
He was literally getting on a plane, wasn't he?
He was, yeah.
And you thought, oh, Jory's out. However, that's sort of why I like him. So Jory's maybe still back in. And then he landed, then he called, and then it was all right.
Then it was okay. But I tell you, those few hours where he was obviously in an airplane, he said, I'll call you. I thought, what's coming next?
Yeah.
A really gentle letdown, or... yeah, this could be something.
Yeah, and you and he together now, and of course you have a family, and that was interesting, wasn't it, on so many levels, and you talk about that so much. I heard somebody say the other day that they think you should be the next head of the FIA. Then there really would be a conflict of interest.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Is that categorically never going to happen?
No, I'm not interested in that role.
You wouldn't do it?
No.
That's interesting. So that's interesting. So F1 Academy is officially a hit now. Can we say that?
I don't want to be too, let's say, believing too much in what it is. It's still got a long way to go, but we're on a very good trajectory.
Great. And if you could, if you had a wish list, you have a goal list, I bet, for the next 3 to 5 years. What would you like to happen most in motorsport?
I would like it not to be unusual to be a woman in the sport anymore, because I think we talk around about female talent still as being underrepresented. Well, I want there to be enough female talent, both off track and on track, that you're simply there. You're not a female or a male, but the sport is much more diverse, and you simply feel like you belong regardless of your gender.
All right, we're done here. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
For Susie Wolff, please, if you don't mind.
Thank you.
Come on. Susie Wolff, it's out now. Driven. Susie Wolff, Driven. Zach Brown, 7/10. Get them both. Stick them in your favourite motorsport fans' Christmas stocking.
Virgin.